Hi, I'm Bob Strange. I'm a vehicle dynamics engineer, and I have a confession to make that you might find a little surprising. When I travel, I prefer to rent a Crown Victoria over any other vehicle. Really. Not bad. Now, if you're like most of my friends, you're wondering, why would a man like me with a garage full of racing and sports cars prefer Crown Victoria when traveling? The answer is simple. This vehicle satisfies my needs with a laundry list of outstanding features. We'll cover many of these in this program. I just like driving this car, and we're going to take a closer look at why. We'll concentrate on the areas that Crown Victoria owners are most emphatic. These are performance handling, safety, security, and comfort convenience. Occasionally in this program we'll rely on some footage from the 2001 Crown Victoria product video. In those instances, the particular feature discussed hasn't changed. Really, I guess all that's changed is me. Power is an easy one. The 4.6-liter single overhead cam engine puts out 220 horsepower and 265 pound-feet of torque. Now, this engine is mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission and a 2.73 to 1 final drive ratio. This drivetrain does a commendable job of acceleration and passing. Now, for more of a kick, there's a 235 horsepower, 275 pound-feet of torque dual exhaust version of this engine that comes with the optional handling and performance package. Now, not only is the engine uprated, but the final drive ratio is bumped up to 3.27 to 1, which also helps improve acceleration, especially off the line. You'll want to remember to present this package to your customers. Not only are Crown Victoria customers enamored with their V8 engine, but they seem to have a decided preference for rear-wheel drive. Now, this is something that the Chrysler Concorde, the Buick LeSabre, nor the Toyota Avalon even offer. Why do they have this preference anyway? Well, from my point of view, it's just simple vehicle dynamics. Let's apply some engineering concepts that the customer can truly understand and appreciate. From a rear-wheel drive standpoint, what rear-wheel drive offers is the fact that it splits the workload much better between the front and the rear tires. Obviously, with rear-wheel drive, the front tires do the vast majority of the steering. The rear tires supply the traction. This helps really in both ride and handling issues. Now, specifically on Crown Victoria, it has what we call a solid rear axle. These are the two rear tires. There's actually a solid axle connecting them. The benefits here, one in particular, is that the tires are always perpendicular to the road surface, regardless of what the vehicle is doing. Now, what this does is keeps the tire footprint flat on the road surface, makes for better tire wear and better overall performance. Now, specifically on Crown Victoria, it has what we call a Watts linkage in the back, and it looks a little like this. This may look a little disconcerting, but here's what happens. With a rear axle, you not only have to locate it up and down connected to the chassis, but you also have to make sure that you support it from side to side, especially when you go around a corner. Now, what the Watts linkage does, the rear axle is attached to the center of the Watts linkage. When the axle moves up and down, this center portion always stays right in the middle of the vehicle. It doesn't allow the rear axle to shift side to side like it does on some other designs. This really helps in terms of the straight ahead stability and stability when you hit bumps in the middle of a corner. It's a major issue with this design. Now, there are also a couple of other things I want to talk about. There are coil springs at all four corners. Now, coil springs do a much better job than leafs do because they don't have what we call interleaf friction. They allow the shock absorbers to work better. Now, keep in mind that with the handling and performance package, there are air springs in the rear that actually have the same benefits. And lastly, there are stabilizer bars that are standard. The stabilizer bars act away from the ride issues. In other words, the stabilizer bars only work when you go around the corner to stabilize or control body lean, but they have virtually no effect on the ride. So in some respects, have your cake and eat it too. Be sure to present Crown Victoria's optional traction control system. It uses a combination of braking and engine management to help the vehicle maintain traction on slippery roads. That's a real security plus that Crown Victoria customers will appreciate. This is one of the few cars around that uses body-on-frame construction. Using Tinker Toys like this, you can demonstrate how this design isolates the body of the vehicle, where the occupants actually sit, from the suspension system. Most passenger cars directly attach the suspension components to the body. With body-on-frame construction, the suspension components and the body are attached to a separate frame. In essence, it affords another level of isolation, rubber mounts, between the road and the occupants. Handling is as much subjective as objective, and by that I mean much of the perception of handling has to do with the feel, not just the numbers posted at the end of every car magazine article. Crown Victoria has speed-sensitive steering to enhance this feel aspect of performance. Speed-sensitive steering is actually quite simple in concept. At low speeds, speed-sensitive steering adds steering assist to make turning the steering wheel easier. At higher speeds, speed-sensitive steering adds steering effort to make the car feel more responsive with more feedback for the precise control needed during high-speed maneuvers. It also helps keep the driver from overcorrecting during an accident avoidance maneuver. It's a major cause of loss of vehicle control. Although NHTSA does not post ratings for carryover vehicles until December, Crown Victoria earned the 5-star frontal crash test rating for the driver and right front passenger in 2001, and it's anticipated that it will do so again in 2002. This is an important fact for many Crown Victoria customers. These safety-conscious customers will also appreciate a thorough explanation of the personal safety system. Dave Clark from the Ford Automotive Safety Organization did a fine job of explaining this.
In terms of the dual threshold part of the system detects whether the occupants, the driver and the right front passenger, are wearing their belts or not, and there are basically two thresholds. A lower threshold for the unbelted occupant, meaning that those occupants would be more likely to get the airbag during the crash than the unbelted occupant, or than the belted occupant. The personal safety system has four main sensors that determine the airbag deployment strategy. And these four sensors are the safety belt usage sensors that detect whether an occupant is belted or unbelted, the crash severity sensor, in combination with the sensor in the restraints control module, helps to make the decision regarding crash severity, whether it's a low, moderate, or high severity crash. And there's a driver's seat position sensor that detects whether the occupant is in the full forward position, this is the driver occupant, is in the full forward position, or some distance back from that full forward position. And if this is the case, the driver inflator is adjusted in terms of its output. This advanced restraint system, or the personal safety system, we deliver the appropriate level of airbag power to match the crash severity that the person is experiencing.
Rounding out our safety discussion is ABS. The anti-lock braking system is standard on the LX and LX Sport, and it's an option on the Standard series. Now, ABS helps the driver maintain control during hard braking. Space is something that Crown Victoria has in spades. The trunk space is huge and it easily swallows the required 4 golf bags. Comfort to me is more than just ride comfort. It means being comfortable driving and riding in Crown Victoria. Many of the features that enhance total driving comfort for 2002 are steering wheel mounted audio and climate controls on LX and LX Sport, the rear seat armrest with cup holders on LX and LX Sport, heated exterior side mirrors, which are standard on all models, and the trunk storage system, which is an option on LX and LX Sport. Lastly, there is no question that the power adjustable pedals, which are optional on the Standard Series and standard on LX and LX Sport, go a long way towards enhancing driving comfort. It allows drivers of varying stature to adjust the accelerator and brake pedals forward and rearward for comfortable positioning. Now, none of Crown Victoria's competitors offer this feature. Now, I have one other very important Crown Victoria to mention, and it's especially appealing to me. It's the 5-passenger LX Sport, and it includes the following: P235/55R17 black sidewall Goodyear Eagle LS tires, exclusive 17-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels, dual exhaust, 5-passenger configuration, floor shifter, front center console, rear seat armrest with dual cup holders, revised springs, shocks, and stabilizer bar, rear air spring suspension, and 3.27:1 final drive ratio. Everyone will know you're driving a unique Crown Victoria because the LX Sport has a monochromatic exterior with body-colored grille, bumpers, deck lid applique, and tail lamp trim. It can be ordered in Matador Red, black clear coat, deep Wedgwood blue, or silver frost. And this is my kind of Crown Victoria. Before we close, here's a quick review of some of the high points of today's program. Under performance handling, we have Crown Victoria's outstanding V8 power with standard 220 horsepower and 235 horsepower with a dual exhaust version, and rear-wheel drive for exceptional ride and handling benefits. Now, with attention to safety and security, Crown Victoria offers many outstanding features, including a 5-star crash test rating and personal safety system. Finally, Crown Victoria provides comfort and convenience with exceptional interior room and storage, and power adjustable accelerator and brake pedals, and the 5-passenger LX Sport. To learn even more about Crown Victoria, you can always consult the e-source book at www.fordtraining.com, the 2002 Car Source book, or Frontline magazine. We've covered a lot of turf in this program, and I hope you come away with the feeling that Crown Victoria is much more than just a large 4-door sedan. It's a car that can truly appeal to a much broader customer base than one might expect, and that includes even me. Occasionally in this program, I'm sorry. Now let's take a look at it. I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry.